All right, folks, so this week's course is called Compass Point. It is in Pasadena, Maryland. And Pasadena, for those of you who are not familiar with Eastern Maryland, it is essentially down Route 2 from the city. You could say out Route 100 from Glen Burnie heading east. And it is on the way to Fort Smallwood, I believe it's called, Fort Smallwood, at the end of Route 725 or 735. But anyway, it's just off of 100, heading to the northeast. And it is a really nice course. I was very surprised by how nice this course is. The facilities are very nice. It has a modest looking clubhouse from the outside. It looks, like one of the mini clubhouses that look like it's in some kind of large shed or something like that. And it's a very modest looking place, but inside the clubhouse is really nice. It's kind of an industrial sports bar of a sort, but they have a nice big hot grill, just this really nice bar in the place. And it's just nice. That's all I can say. But it's not like it's some upscale wood paneling kind of fancy glassware and silverware kind of place. It's just like a nice bar, a nice downtown Baltimore bar, a little bit on the blue collar side, but still pretty nice. They have a really nice driving range there, 300 some odd yards, nothing fancy or tricked up or anything like that. And they have two courses there. One course is the Northeast course, and the other course is the Southwest course. Now, you do have a couple of holes on the course where there is just almost constant traffic passing by the course, though it's one lane. The Northeast course is a slope 137 course from the back tees with a playing distance of 7150 something yards. And the Southwest course is ever so slightly shorter at about 6950 yards playing from the back tees and a slope 131, I believe. It's like 74.1 in terms of a course rating for the Northeast course and 73.9 for the Southwest course. So, of course, as our rule, we play the harder of the two courses the first time we go there. And if we like the environment, maybe we'll go back and play the other course. Certainly, it's good to have the other course as a second option to play the course again, instead of going back and playing the same course twice. The Northeast course is a very nice course. I won't say it's the best course, certainly neighborhood woods course, certainly mid-Atlantic course, okay? But it's definitely a nice course for the Baltimore area. It is a really well-maintained course. And the past 2 days before I went out and played, we had just buckets of thunderstorm water and everything down on the course. So, and the courses in the area basically have been really green for the past month or so, ever since, the weather turned, and your courses that have Bermuda grass turn green and everything starts to green up. The trees come out with the leaves and so forth. So everything's all nice and green and colorful. And this course was almost perfect in terms of condition. The greens were really nice, not too fast, not too slow, not really thick or slow, not too much play on them, but enough play to make them interesting and challenging. The front nine of the course, I would say, was okay. It wasn't enough of a challenge of a layout to really be more than okay. And also one of the problems with it is that it is sort of a rectangular kind of thing where they lay holes out, north, south, north, south, north, south, and wrap one around the east, west to come around the bottom and then go back up on the top and go west to east. So that kind of thing does tend to have several holes that are almost on top of each other. You go up one fairway, the next fairway is just maybe through a thin row of trees coming back the other way. There's a par 3 tucked in the corner and another par 4, whatever. Okay. So the first 9 holes, I would say probably 5 out of those 9 holes were just okay. Decently long, decently challenging, about 125 challenging. So 125 challenging, and then some elevation, but nothing major. But mainly I think the outstanding characteristic of those parts were a lot of noise coming from 725, which passed by one corner of that rectangle or square, whatever you call it. The other holes, the other 4 holes on the front side and almost all of the back side were really nice. Now I've played, like I said, slightly better courses in Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, and so forth than that back 9, but not a lot better. It was actually pretty nice, and it was a good challenge for fairway hitting in terms of hitting shots, where you had to, if you hit 250, 300 yards or something, it did kind of neck down in certain places, and there was water here that you had to worry about and waste off to the right. Plenty of holes with water. Sometimes you couldn't see it, but on every hole, they had a good hole map, so you could literally see everything that was out there. It's just a question of recognizing the features and mapping the course map to what you saw out in front of you. They didn't have a GPS, didn't have any GPS issues with the cart, and a lot of these carts places now have an app or something where you can go on their app and map the course in real time. This course had that feature. They have their own app that you can download and put on the course, and it just really was a well done facility. The only thing I really could say that I wasn't enthusiastic about with this course, actually there are 2 things. The housing was not really a problem, although certainly there were, unfortunately, places on the Northeast course where there's a house right next to the tee box, especially with the back tees, because they tend to be farther back than, and therefore closer to houses that are just off the tee box. But there were a couple of tees where there were houses that were right there next to the tee box. And it is still a fairly modest course. It's not super tight. It's not super vertical. I'm in the woods feeling. You're in the woods and you can't see anything outside of the course. And that's not really, it just is not, it's like losing sight in one eye. You can still see out the other eye, but you lose all the stereo vision and all this stuff like that. So you could play the course and everything. It was a nice enough course to play, but ultimately it was just a golf course, literally just a golf course. And that is just missing so much of the dynamic of playing golf, is the scenery, the surroundings, the views, all that kind of stuff. None of that you could really get at, but also this course. It was a nice course. Compass Point, the Northeast course, is a nice course, but it doesn't have that ruggedness, that elevation change, that tightness, and or the views, and it's not too far from the coast, but it's still not at the coast. You still can't see anything on the course or from the course. So it does come off as kind of like a mild level of a nice course in the mountains or on the shore or something like that. You're on the shore because it's hot, it's humid. They're like little green things, not quite greenies, but close to greenies, flying around. It got really humid as the day went on. There was plenty of water already. It's on the shore, and then the whole course is wet and it has plenty of water on the course, and it just started steaming up. And as we got later in the round, it was just like this, almost like a fog you could cut. I've played in worse conditions than this for sure. It didn't get that hot. It did not get that humid, but it was hot and humid enough. And then the sun came out as the sun went down below the clouds. There were a significant number of cloud layer out there, as you can see in the pictures. And the sun came down below those clouds later in the afternoon around 5 o'clock. And then it just went, it was just like you were inside of a microwave at that point. And I was so glad we were finishing up at that point. I went in, clubhouse, sat down, and it took me about 20 minutes to cool off. And it was a good round. I liked it. I would definitely like to play that course again, but it is a little bit disappointing. I'm going to give this course a B star. It's just not good enough for a full B+. It is definitely not an A- or A course. It is a good course. I ended up paying $115 to play this course on a Saturday with GolfNow, $75 for the round with a cart. Got paired up with a couple of nice people, and other than the fact that, let's just say there was a significant discrepancy between their ability to play golf and mine, but I still thank them, whoever they are, for putting up with me and taking all these pictures and just basically having my head not completely in the match. It was good that they knew each other. It was good that somebody else joined us, caught up with us that they knew, and I didn't have to worry about them too much or anything. But at the same time, when you're playing from the back tees and they're playing from the forward tees, it can be an issue if you don't handle it well. In the long run, it was a good round for me, although I think I may have been a little bit too disconnected at times during the round taking pictures. But for me, basically, all in all, it was a good round. I had a good time playing it. There's a little regret here and there about things, but basically I had a great time playing it. I still have to say, this course is no Maryland National, okay? This course is not that good of a course to go up in that range or that zone where you're talking about Bull Run, Maryland National, Whiskey Creek, just a bunch of courses in that area where I would give it a B+ without hesitation. It's not that good of a course. It is, however, a very decent course. And it is an unreserved B* of a golf course, where I have lately had to say to myself, well, it's not really a B course. And I hate to give it a B*, but I'm going to give it a B* just to give it some room between it and a B course. This course is on the other side where I'm saying it's not really a B+ course, but I'm not going to screw it over. I'm going to give it what it deserves. And I would say definitely it's a B* course. But this course is, I would say, one of the courses I would want to play again in the Maryland, D.C. area. And it's not that far out of town. It's not that much traffic to get there. It wasn't that hard for me to get there from D.C. And really, I had a good time playing it. The only one thing I would change about this course is that it just got so humid. It wasn't even humid on the course while we were playing. It really happened when we were like the last couple of holes. Okay, because it got to a point where the sun's down below the trees in some places, or just above the trees in some places. So there's plenty of shade. It was when I came off the course and I'm not in the trees and we're out there at the golf course and the sun is just full, that I really felt like it was really getting a little bit too hot. There are a couple of holes where you're playing around a big lake and so forth that effect can kind of happen. But to me, the major thing is it just was a little bit stifling, a little bit hot, a little bit humid, and a little bit more than I want to. It just makes me nervous when I play a course like that, because I just don't like it when it gets super hot and humid on a golf course. But this is, June. It's June on the eastern shore of Maryland. It's not, a way out on Annapolis or something like that, but it's close enough. Okay, you're on the Chesapeake, and it's close enough where that can easily happen. And that to me was the biggest problem with it. Other than that, I would say it was more of a letdown in the sense that it was not quite as hard on the front as it was on the back. The back was quite decent. The front was okay. And even I would say that the decent back of the course was still modestly decent. It wasn't a ball breaker. It was not super hard, but you could easily hit yourself into trouble. That was the big difference. Plenty of swales, some decent carries, one or two holes with trees hanging out over the tee box. The trouble was there, but it still was fairly modest. And it became a good challenge of how much distance do I want on my shot versus, what are the odds that I can get into play. And sometimes I guessed wrong. Sometimes I hit a shot that was a little bit left of where I really wanted to go, and it didn't cut back as much as I wanted it to. And it, just missed the fairway or just went into a lake or something like that. So that was definitely there. But at the same time, frankly, I was playing Out of all the drivers that I have now, I was playing my newest, most, or really close. Yeah, I don't have the 12 anymore. I'm playing 11.5 now, TS2 on this course. And it's really not a club that I'm very familiar with yet. And I really have a hard time hitting it precisely where I want it to go. And it hits the ball so high. It just has so much apex on this club. It just goes out. You hit it well, hit it right, and it would the ball is just gone. It's out there, 300. I've hit 290 with this club on a sim. And you just have to be very controlled with this club hitting that kind of distance. And so this course is a good balance. I got in almost all my drives, but there were a couple that floated out on me or something, or went a little bit offline, a little bit off apex, and didn't quite make it back to the fairway. So it was a decent challenge overall, but I still would not say that this was a hard course. It just wasn't. For me, if it's a hard course, I'm rarely going to hit my least familiar driver. I'm going to stick with my other drivers that are less loft and more control, and keep the ball in the fairway more often. And I had really no real outrageous fear with this. It's just sometimes I just didn't quite hit exactly the shot I wanted to in the water. Definitely a course worth playing. Absolutely. You can play this course. It's public. You get a chance to play it. It's awesome. It gives you a good idea of what the mountain courses are like in, say, West Virginia or Central Virginia, without having to go 3 to 5 hours out of DC to Baltimore to get out there and play them. And for that reason, I think it's a really good gem of a course for the Baltimore area. That's Compass Point Golf Course in Pasadena, Maryland, a solid B-star course, a upper third B-star course.